Get ready to cheer on Team USA. Sign up for Xfinity Internet and get a Flex 4K streaming box free and Peacock Premium included. Can your internet do that?
Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Peacock subscription required.
Xfinity, proud partner of Team USA.
I am the world's first fully functioning homicidal artist.
I'm Batman.
You're listening to League Podcast, League versus Batman, 1989. I'm Uncle Bingo.
You can call me Elder.
Peter McElroy, Gotham City Action News.
Elder was kind of it's not, I expected something better from you.
Oh, I thought that was good. It's the same amount of syllables.
But usually you have something related to the movie.
Yeah, well, I was taking you call me Joker and changing it to you call me Elder. So it was related to the movie.
All right, I missed it. I'm sorry.
Thurston, I have a question for you. Informal survey before we get started here. I know we like to do our ratings later, but do you ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
A+.
Yeah, yes, A+ Dance with the Devil. No, this is Batman 1989. This film, I'm sure everyone in our generation saw it. Everyone in our generation beyond us saw it. I saw this movie with my grandmother back in 1989. So, and she loved the Jack Nicholson Joker part. She says, "I think he's really like that." That's what she kept saying to me.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get into Jack. I got a lot to say about Jack Nicholson later on, but
in reference to what you said, which a lot of times we watch these movies that are classics still to me, but you guys have seen them maybe in the theater when it came out, and that usually isn't the case. I can say for sure that I was all about Batmania in 1989, and I think I went with Jay Woodworth, an Abington fellow, to see this. My mom dropped us off. And it was a big deal. That was like the one time my mom dropped me off at the movies with a friend when I was, I was 14 years old or whatever. I think a little later, as I got older and had my own car and stuff, went to the movies plenty. But like, it was like this.
You still let your mom drive you and drop you off.
Well,
just for the.
I don't feel like driving. Mom, can you take me?
Yeah. But I mean, I was all about this movie, and I did go to see it in the theater. So I just want to be like, yeah, I actually saw it in the theater. I was so excited as soon as I saw the bat symbol getting teased.
Well, yeah, like none of the posters said the word Batman on them. It was all just the symbol. It was pretty cool. Like, it was pretty interesting marketing. But I want to go back because, like, everybody's probably talked about this movie. I was thinking, what angle could we take that like wouldn't just sound repetitive? Everyone's talked about this movie probably, right? But I want to go back to Clay and I seeing Michael Uslan speak at New York Comic Con.
That's right.
Whatever year that was. But Michael Uslan, of course, is a producer on this, and he wrote a book called The Boy Who Loved Batman, which I highly recommend that book. And he's sort of given the credit for being the guy who wanted to make the Dark Knight version of Batman. Because every studio...
he wanted it to be like it was in the comics. Like Bob Kane and Bill Finger meant it to be.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't want to make the 66, like a film version of the 66 Adam West, which they had already done a film on that. But I don't really like to talk about that. Right? Pretty bad.
Sure. No,
I disagree with you there. I like Batman 66 because I like.
I'm gonna say Batman 66 goes on a little longer than it should. It feels like the movie ends and then they're like, all these guys turned into dust and we got to figure this out. I'm like, oh, I wish this movie
to me,
was
that's
over.
almost the same problem I have with the MST3K movie. Is like, is it an episode? Is it a movie? I mean, it's just really an episode, isn't it? But it's like a little longer. Oh, MST3K is actually shorter. But it's just like, I just look at Batman 66 as all of it. And like, it's not like the movie was like cinematically different. It was just the same, you know?
Yeah,
Like
they had a couple
group.
more location shots, and that was about it.
Exactly.
So, like, we got a Batcopter now.
Right.
We got to use it. Yeah. But the production on this one was going like way back into like the late 70s.
So yeah,
people were talking about this.
Uslan registered the company called like Batman the movie, the company, in October 3rd, 1979. 3 days before my birthday. 3 days before my 4th birthday.
Wow. Yeah, and he wanted to make the Dark Knight version, and all these movie studios were like, nope, we want to make the 60s one. Like, the 66 one.
It took him 10 years.
And then he wrote a treatment, which people compare, or he compared it to the Dark Knight Returns, which was 60 years later. It still was kind of like, meh, but Superman came out. Superman was really popular in 1978. And so, like, Warner Brothers finally said, okay, we'll make your Batman movie because we made too money on Superman.
Yeah, that's the funny thing, too, because Uslan was pitching it much like the early days of Marvel, where, like, Spider-Man and the X-Men are done by different studios. Like, Warner Brothers wasn't tied to this from the very beginning, but then when they made the decision to make this movie, it kind of was like, oh yeah, because we own Batman. Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't know. Did they always own Batman? I don't even know how it worked back then.
Because they own DC, right?
Right. I didn't know if that was always the case.
But it was a possibility this was going to get made somewhere else. Kind of like a Hulk Universal thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, a lot of studios turned them down. The Universal was kind of in the running, but they turned it down. And then, but this went on for years, all through the 80s. Like Clay said, it took him 10 years.
That's what the book is all about, right?
Basically. It's also about like when he was a kid and how he was the boy who loved Batman. And he bought the Batman comic books and he loved Batman 66 and blah, blah, blah. And he loved Batman 66, but it wasn't what he knew it wasn't really Batman.
He's been the producer on all the Batman films, right?
Yeah. He's given credit.
He like sort of, in a way, he owns the movie rights. Like it's like that complicated. That he like owns a piece of it.
Why did you do that Batman and Robin if you didn't want to do a Batman 66? Why didn't you say something?
I don't know. Back in the day, like you think they just.
Well, now I'm pretty sure it's well beyond. Like, I'm sure he has to be listed in Zack Snyder's Justice League, but I'm sure Michael Uslan isn't consulted on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they have to credit him, but he's not really.
He's like the Stan Lee kind of Batman in that way, where it's like, not a co-creator, but like he's always going to be the executive producer on a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
It's really funny though, like throughout all the 80s there were different. So at one point Ivan Reitman was going to direct and he wanted to cast Bill Murray as Batman and Eddie Murphy as Robin. I mean, it's like
that'd be like having Mr. Mom as Batman.
Yeah. Or that washed up drunk from Clean and Sober.
Well, finally, after Pee-wee's Big Adventure, they thought that was cool and successful, and they said, "Okay, Tim Burton, we'll give it to you." I think they did hire. Beetlejuice was 1988, but he had already been hired to direct it. He just hadn't started pre-production until after. Maybe you're right. I don't know. It's fucking Wikipedia. Who cares? But it was just funny, all these different things. But then one of my favorite
names.
This
is definitely Tim Burton's biggest sort of deal. But then you can see it's like, is this going to be like, is he just going to cast Michael Keaton and everything now? Is that what's going to happen?
No, now
he wasn't the one he wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, he cast Michael Keaton, but he wasn't originally going to. I don't know who he was going to cast, but one of the producers, John Peters, said, "I like Clean and Sober. We should cast Michael Keaton."
I can kind of see that because I'm, as a recovering alcoholic, I'm very familiar with that movie. It's a great fucking movie about addiction and alcoholism, and he's great in that movie. It's awesome. And he says this the funniest line in there is like, "You guys eat a lot of ice cream, huh?" This guy has like, it's a guy, a picture that it's John Lithgow. I don't think it is, but it might be. He's just got like those metal containers from Friendly's with they would put ice cream in, like a sundae. He had like 5 empty chocolate sundaes in front of him.
Well, that was like Keaton's first like dramatic role, right? Like everybody was sort of like, what? What? Drama? You know, back when everybody...
It's like gung-ho a comedy or a drama. I guess it's kind of both. I don't know. I kind of like that.
I don't remember. I saw it way back when. So
Yeah.
I remember it was marketed more as a comedy. It was a movie that had humorous parts and dramatic parts.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah, like a humorous movie, but adult situations.
The ironic thing is he's basically been playing Batman since 1989.
Yeah, like in Multiplicity.
Oh, right. I forgot about that one.
Birdman was amazing. That movie is like...
No, it was amazing, but he's basically playing himself, playing Batman, right? I mean, like, I don't know. I love that.
Would you say that about the Vulture role too?
I wouldn't.
Starting to poke holes in that theory.
I think he's basically playing this like the bad guy version in a way. You know what I mean? Not exactly. Anyway, so Tim Burton, he went to Sam Hamm, which is a great name, although Sam isn't his real first name. But so he
sounds like a Dr. Seuss character.
I know. His name is Gay, so his name is actually Gay Hamm, which is. I'm sorry, I'm not
even worse. Yeah,
I know. I would change my name to Sam too.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he cut out a lot of stuff. He cut out the origin story, which was good. He replaced Silver St. Cloud with Vicky Vale, and he made Carl Grissom instead of Rupert Thorne. And yeah, I think his script is generally the one that, even though there were many, many rewrites and different people credited, his script is generally the one that went, they used most.
I'm looking at this story when I rewatched the movie, like just thinking about the script. It's a good story, even with the change of making Jack Napier Joe Chill. Like, I don't really mind that, and I think it's cool. Like, and it begot like this movie just started the fire, man. I mean, like,
yeah. I mean, I was gonna save that to the end, but you're right. Every Batman movie and almost every comic book movie.
Every comic book movie. Yeah, this started
has been influenced by this.
I feel like they even had to figure out how to make a suit for the first time here, Which I feel
like not even comic book movies. Like, if you look at different movie villains, they were all kind of like, oh, that Jack Nicholson was pretty good. Like, like not all of them, but I feel like they're all kind of borrowing from this. It was a big deal. So,
and speaking of one other thing about the if you think about the origin story, they kind of have that little clip of like the flashback and that guy that really does look like who would be a pretty good Joker.
Right.
To some of the movies that were like that. You just made that guy the Joker, but anyways, like I guess there was like Adam West was mad that he wasn't asked to do this.
Oh yeah,
and then Tim Burton was like, I kind of thought like maybe they could be, like it was one of the Catwomen, and he would like have them be the Thurston's favorite, Thomas and Martha Wayne, walking out of the theater as a cameo, and then that would have just started literally like what they do in every show and every superhero thing now and every reboot where they have the original cast member, like it would have started then, but luckily we had a few years without that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're not going to put Adam. I mean, maybe you could put Adam West in as somebody else, but yeah, you're obviously not going to cast him as Batman. Although
the mayor,
did he like? Yeah, right, Mayor Borg, which is a funny.
That made me laugh.
But so, like, even though Michael Keaton was very controversial at the time, apparently Warner Brothers received 50,000 letters saying, "What are you doing?" The Joker was different. Jack Nicholson. Everybody loved that one, except Robin Williams. Did you guys read this story? Apparently, they kind of used Jack Nicholson they had asked him about it like way back in like 1980 when they were first trying to make this movie. And then when he was kind of like, I don't know, by the time they were going around to making it, they asked Robin Williams. And then once they told Jack Nicholson that Robin Williams was going to do it, he's like, okay, I'll do it. And Robin Williams got kind of mad that they used him as bait.
He was like kind of used, as bait. Yeah.
He said he wouldn't do another Warner Brothers movie until they apologized, which is kind of funny. But I mean, I don't know. I can't picture anybody else. Yeah.
I mean, I can picture Robin Williams, just like I can picture Robin Williams play Jim Carrey's Riddler. Or, I mean, just like those two actors in particular are very much like, that's them being them, and making a lot of facial expressions. Like, there's no two other comedians even, they're kind of in their own category almost.
So there's a lot going on with this Jack Nicholson thing. First of all, here's my favorite part, and then we'll go on to there because it sounds like he was a little difficult. But here's the funny part. So he took his standard $10 million per movie. He said, I'll take 6 and give me back end points, which is in movie parlance, that is like, a percentage of the gross, a percentage of merchandise, anything. Merchandising.
Yeah, it's like a profit on the same, works the same with concerts. It's like, after everybody makes all their money back, everybody makes a little bit more money. Like, give me some points off that. Yeah. Now
everybody does this, but it's still, I think, maybe as much money as anyone's ever received to make any movie. Some people think he made as much as $90 million, which is probably not true. It's probably more like 60, but that's still a lot when you consider, like, oh, you pay when, like, it was a big deal when Jim Carrey got like $20 million to do a movie.
And he made, I don't know if he demanded it, but he ended up being the top billing too, so like his name plays before.
He demanded
in the credits.
Yes, he demanded it. He also demanded to get all the nights off so he could go see LA Lakers games, home games, and he also only wanted to work like certain hours of the day, and then he would show up like later than everyone else, and then sit in a chair and fall asleep apparently while he was getting his makeup on. So. I don't know. It sounds like he was a little difficult to work with.
I mean, he's fucking Jack Nicholson. What can you do?
I know.
In his prime.
I know. Prime, yeah. But then, of course, we have Kim Basinger. I don't want anybody else. When I think about Kim Basinger, I touch myself. Does anyone remember that Wayne's World reference?
No.
Is that why she was in Wayne's World? Wayne's World too, right?
Yeah,
like dating Garth.
Garth was like, he always fantasized about.
Yeah, and then he was like, "Well, she doesn't give me my space or whatever."
I know he didn't. So Sean Young was apparently the original Vicky Vale, and she had like a horse riding accident or something.
I thought she was the original Catwoman, or was it she was Vicky Vale, but then she got weird in that second thing and showed up to Tim Burton and dressed as Catwoman. I guess that.
I think that was the second one. Yeah.
Sorry, my apologies.
I don't know. Again, hey, Wikipedia.
Hey, you're probably right. It's Wikipedia. It's never been wrong, and I'm wrong all the time.
But apparently, I'm just saying this because they did have to hire Kim Basinger on short notice. And
I think it was a better choice. Although,
absolutely, Sean Young,
Vicky Vale's hair or Kim Basinger's hair in this is very. I think it's over processed and it's very dry and straw like looking. And they put her in a lot, like they put her in some real skin tight outfits, but they put her in a lot of like the 80s, like big shoulder pads. And like the first shot, she's got like these glasses that are like, huge. So
the scene where, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that actually Michael Keaton was dating Michelle Pfeiffer at the time of this movie. And they almost put her in this movie, but then they put her in the other movie.
The Ant-Man movie?
The Ant-Man movie.
Yeah.
The other funny when you're talking about her out, like, so the scene where Michael Keaton shows up and he's going to tell her he's Batman, right? Like, she's, for someone who's just hanging around the house, she's like dressed in this like beautiful dress, and her hair is in like a ponytail kind of thing, a braid. I don't know why I couldn't think of that word.
I was trying to see what she looked like in that scene, and I was just coming up with blank. So sorry.
She's got this like black dress and pantyhose and high heels.
Hello.
And I feel like she's just hanging around the house in that scene, unless Michael Keaton was like, unless he was Bruce Wayne.
When Bruce Wayne comes in and goes, Nice apartment, lots of space. And then when Joker comes in, he goes, "Nice place, lots of space." They both say the same thing. It's
Lots of
hilarious.
space.
never
I know.
noticed that
I
before.
actually, that is one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie. It's so funny. Just I mean, obviously the way Joker is really funny. Anyway, but I love when he says, "Never rub another man's rhubarb." After he shoots.
Yeah, right.
Well, I love that line. It's so dumb. Yeah, like of course there's the classic like, oh, I'm gonna put the tin thing under my jacket, so as long as it doesn't shoot me in the head, I'm okay. Like,
Yeah, shoot him in the head.
It's
always
very
Bulletproof
Johnny
vest.
Dangerously, isn't it?
I know. Every movie. I mean, literally every movie. No one
Every
gets
Michael
shot in
Keaton
the head.
movie has to put a silver tray in his jacket to not die.
That's in his
before.
contract. Every movie has to
It's
have
his
that.
contract. Yeah, Nicholson is more concerned with the top billing, and Keaton's is like, "Have we figured out where we're going to put the metal plate in my jacket scene yet?"
I mean,
Once.
yeah, it works. But I don't know. I love that scene, and obviously the scene in the art museum is also very fun. You know, with the Prince song, and
I always make reference to Mrs. Elder when we have to do something and I have to help her in some way, like physically lift her for some reason. And I always say to her, "You weigh a little more than 108 pounds." Although she doesn't, but you know,
I know it's just a good line. It's
tiny. But I'm like, yeah, it's a good line to say.
Yeah, I love. Of course, there's so many favorites.
Speaking of Prince songs, Tim Burton famously did not care so much for the Prince soundtrack. Of course, he hired his friend Danny Elfman to score the film, and we can all agree that there's some great themes on this. Even as someone that doesn't listen to soundtracks, I do enjoy. Well, I'll definitely enjoy the Elfman over the Prince songs. But the Prince songs are kind of funny and quirky in a nostalgic sort of way.
I never really got into Prince, but I do enjoy Elfman's Batman theme, which I wish they had kept for the Schumacher.
I know. It's like a bad takeoff. It's like they're
yeah, it's a sound-alike. It's a
Yeah.
Batman, a Danny Elfman Batman sound-alike.
They didn't want to get dinged on YouTube, so they had to buy like
Yeah.
sound-alike music.
It's like, yeah, it's just different enough to.
Danny
but
Elfman playing Flying Rodent Man, theme.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was never a huge Prince fan either, but yeah, these songs are definitely memorable and
they're
fun.
like very like he was kind of given like I appreciate them sort of more than I like them, if that makes any sense. Like he was using like a lot of synthesizer sampling technology. He's like a brilliant musician, and like working on this, I'm sure like helped him later on because he like learned how to do like all these samples. Vicky Vale, Vicky Vale. But like that song was tired,
didn't even use that
not
in
wired.
The movie, which I'm glad they didn't. I didn't like that song at all.
Right. Bat Dance.
It was like the
fun video though.
The Barman. It's but obviously I think as much as like we talked about the movie changing everything, the Danny Elfman soundtrack definitely, like, I think that informed a lot of other soundtracks.
Yeah, maybe like Spider-Man, because that sounds like Danny Elfman. Because it is Danny Elfman.
Well, there you go.
Can we talk about Jack Palance's performance real quick?
Yes.
Because I would like to say something about his performance, because I was saying to Mrs. Elder as we were watching it, I was like, Jack Palance feels like he's doing a Jack Palance imitation in this movie. It's like he's on Saturday Night Live pretending to be himself. It's
really it's very over the top. And thankfully he only has like 3 or 4 lines. He's not really in it that much. His death scene it looks like the scene at the end of I forget if it's Bride of the Monster or something. Check out our Ed Wood episode, but there's that scene. Does anyone maybe it's even Plan 9 or whatever, where they're shooting Bill Lugosi's character, but like they don't have scripts or anything. So they just kind of show his face going like, this is kind of what it looks like when Jack Palance is dying. He kind of just goes like, and he just falls in the chair. Jack Nicholson is great though, because I love when he's like just keeps shooting him and shoots behind his back and everything. And I do often say, oh, what a day. That's one of another oft-quoted lines of mine. Which Jack Nicholson says there. Yeah.
Whenever I pick you up, I say that you weigh more than 108 pounds.
Oh,
You're like, oh, today.
I definitely do. So, but that would be unhealthy if I didn't.
Yeah, I'm saying it in a nice way. I'm like, oh, you weigh a little more than 108 pounds. Good for you, buddy.
Man, if I was really sick, I mean, when I was about 115 pounds when I went in the hospital about 10 years ago, which is not healthy.
You're still more than 108 at least.
That's true.
Yeah, so you could look at the bright side.
Yeah. So, anyways, anyone else you want to talk about as far as this is a good cast? I think this is actually, I know Michael Keaton. Everybody loves Michael Keaton as Alfred. This is one of the better Alfreds. Michael Gow. Michael Keaton. Michael Kane. Did I say Michael Keaton?
No. Okay, let's try it again. You did say the right name in there, but then you said the wrong name again.
You said a lot of Michaels, and then I'm not sure, and Alfred, and I'm not really sure what.
There were a bunch of Michaels that were involved in Batman movies, and one of them was right, and then.
Well, I don't know. So
it was the
Alfred
middle
is
one.
Good.
It was the middle one. You said Michael Keaton, and then the last one you said was Michael Caine. So the middle one was
Michael Gow, right? Isn't that Alfred's name?
Yes, it is.
I didn't say that.
Yes, but
you
that
said
is not.
You said his name in the middle, but
I think you said it somewhere in there.
Good.
That salad.
That Michael salad you just made.
Yeah.
He's amazing in this movie called Conga, about this like mad scientist who creates this growing potion, and they give it to a chimpanzee at the end, and it turns into a giant ape, a giant gorilla. Nice. And walks around and smashes through London while it's holding him in his hand. And he's really a bastard too. He's like, oh, he's got a girlfriend, and then he's like, but my student who's like hotter, she's gonna help me murder people who have like, they cast me out of the scientific community. And it's a really terrible movie, which I highly recommend.
Nice. All right.
I have a little Michael Gow trivia, and it also relates to the Joker in a way. Michael Gow was a friend of Alan Napier, who played Alfred on Batman 66. So, how about that? Jack Napier,
and
Jack Michael, Jack
Michael,
Jack Alfred.
Dan Michael.
They were all Michaels for one
Alfred Molina. I would like
Eddie Van Halen.
Whenever plans get canceled, I always want to say that line from Batman and Robin. He's like, "I'll cancel the pizza." It's like I love that line because then afterwards he has that pained look on his face as though he was like, "I really want a pizza."
Oh,
because he's got Alfred's disease or whatever in that dumb movie.
Alfred's disease.
What was it called again?
I don't know. Who remembers anything?
The gout. Right?
Good one. I actually have to say, I'm not a huge fan of the Zack Snyder movies, but what's his name? Jeremy Irons is also really cool as Batman.
Oh, he's a good.
What? Alfred. What the hell's wrong with me?
Michael Keaton is a good Alfred in the Justice
League. Weller is Inspector Clouseau.
Oh, he was the guy from RoboCop.
And the Beagle I used to own.
Mm-hmm.
Since we're messing up names, here's some possible Batman from other projects that maybe might have been called upon. Mel Gibson, Ray Liotta, Willem Dafoe as the Joker, right?
Oh, but
Kiefer
also
Sutherland as Robin.
Considered for Batman. Yeah. Pierce Brosnan turned it down. He had no interest. He's like, I don't want to play a comic book character.
I wrote Pierce down, but then I didn't know why. And that's why.
Like I'm already a comic book character in real life. Listen to our Pierce Brosnan Bounding Through Bond episodes.
Yeah, do that. It is kind of funny though. Back in the day, yeah, like I bet there a lot of actors like, oh, a comic book, because they weren't.
Back in the day, Alec Baldwin would have been the ultimate Batman. Before he got fat and
fat and old. Yeah.
Wasn't he a
maybe he
wasn't he somebody? Wasn't he the Shadow? No, wait a minute. That's another Baldwin, right?
Yeah.
Who is?
No, it was Alec.
Yeah,
Alec Baldwin. Yeah, he was Shadow when he was skinny.
When he was skinny, yeah, he could do anything.
Yeah, he was. He was like an action hero.
He wasn't leaving evil messages for his daughter or whatever that weirdness was.
Yeah.
Now he's just in a boring
Kim
show
Basinger,
I'm watching.
So
he was.
Yeah.
They're not married anymore, right?
No.
So we also have Robert Wool as the reporter Alex Knox.
He's great.
But not much to say about him. I don't know. I know, but except I know he was supposed to die, but the Joker's gas, and they said, we'll keep you alive.
Bring him back for a sequel.
Right.
Just kidding.
I know. Well, it was the same thing with Billy D. Williams. They cast Billy D. Williams as Harvey Dent, hoping
I'm going to be Two-Face in all the Batman movies coming up.
Yeah, and then they, by the time they got to Batman Forever, they cast Tommy Lee Jones.
I think they made good with that in one of these new animated Batman things that came out.
Yeah.
You're still not going to make the same
It's
money
not making
you
good.
made
It's not
in
good.
Two-Face. Yeah, not totally.
But he did get to play Two-Face. That's all I'm saying. If he was dying to play Two-Face, he got to do it. At least.
Yeah, only got to play his voice, though.
He's an old
He
man.
wanted to do makeup stuff, you know? But he wasn't back in 1989.
No, he would have been a great Two-Face if they decided to go that way.
Yeah.
Go that way.
I just watched a clip of Jim Carrey saying how much that Tommy Lee Jones fucking was like. He said, "I have no time for your foolishness." He fucking hated Jim Carrey, I guess.
I probably would have hated Jim Carrey back then too. I don't like him.
Gave him a hug and like whispered in his ear, "It's like I've got no time for your shenanigans." Imagine if Tommy Lee Jones said that to you.
He essentially played the exact same character as Jim Carrey in that movie.
Yeah, maybe he meant off-camera shenanigans.
Yeah, no, you didn't like him. I've heard that story before too.
I've heard that Jim Carrey can be a bit of a weirdo. So yeah, I mean, on set, who knows? Who knows? That Andy Kaufman movie, apparently he was a total douchebag.
Oh, because he was like in character.
Yeah. Character. So, anyways, what else about Batman though?
The miniature effects were supervised by Derek Meddings, who we have talked about before in James Bond podcast on Goldeneye, and he did the Thunderbirds and a bunch of Bond movies and the Superman movies. And I feel that his work is either amazing or terrible. It's either it blends right in, or I'm like, oh my god, like when they're like, you weigh more than 108 pounds, and it's like, go. I was like, that is such a bad little action figure getting zipped up a lot. It just looks terrible.
Speaking of James Bond, Bob Ringwood turned down Batman because he went to work on License to Kill.
How about that?
So,
who's that?
But he didn't like. He was a costume designer, and he didn't really want to make a bat suit, really.
Well, the bat suit in this movie is a little on the rough side. It looks as though it's like someone, which I'm sure they did, they sculpted out of clay.
It's like the first one, kind of.
Yeah, it just looks lumpy. It's like his cowl looks lumpy.
Yeah, and he has to do the bat turn, the famous bat turn.
Yeah, I love the famous bat turn because the scene where the Joker's or someone's in the helicopter after he blows up the chemical plant, and he does the whip around and does the head thing. His belt goes and falls down.
Oh, no way!
I never noticed it until like the last time I had watched it, and I was like, "Wait a minute!" But yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing is, too, Michael Keaton is a pretty average build guy. You have to make Batman look kind of intimidating, and Michael Keaton's kind of just a regular looking dude, which, whatever, it's fine. But apparently they made 28 sculpted 25 different capes, 6 different heads. It is kind of funny because in Dark Knight, Christian Bale they kind of make a joke about the head tilt by he goes to Morgan Freeman and he says he wants to be able to turn his head.
Right. Because even like Christian Bale, like wasn't Christian Bale like didn't he audition in like the Val Kilmer suit or something? Like a screen test?
Yeah. I think so, yeah. I think he did. That's probably all they had. But he said, sure, make backing out of the driveway easier.
I love that line.
That's my favorite Batsuit. Is that one from that movie?
The Dark Knight one?
Yeah. And having dressed as Batman in an expensive costume before, I'm going to tell you, I don't know how he fights crime because you can't see out of it. Like when I was doing that at that Halloween thing in Salem, North Dakota,
somebody was robbing the register and you got over there and tried to break it up.
But you couldn't see him, so
I couldn't see him because I walked into a tree. The street is lined with trees, so I hit my head on a branch. I tripped on a thing on the brick sidewalk, and a shopkeeper was like, "Nice going, Batman." And then the other thing,
Yeah,
people
I mean,
people
you
kept
had that.
stepping
You're
on my.
asking for that, though. I'm sorry, but you were dressed like that. You were asking for it.
It was Halloween, you know.
I know. I'm just saying. That guy was not out of line. That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, it was funny. That's why I'm telling you this. And then, people kept stepping on my cape. But
That's
all the tourists from out of the country were like, "This, you are the greatest thing I've ever seen." So there are a million pictures of me dressed as Batman out there with all these like foreign tourists that were there, and like little kids were like, "This is amazing! Look, here's
nice.
Batman."
Now they're saying like, look, we met Christian Bale in Salem, North Dakota that one Halloween.
Yeah,
he was just hanging out there.
So that made the fact that like sub-zero temperatures. I walked into a tree, I tripped over a brick, and I got choked 5,000 times because my cape got stepped on. All worth it.
Sure. Well, apparently Michael Keaton is a bit of a logic freak when it comes to his movies, and he was like, how do we make it seem like it's not obvious it's me? And he wanted to do like different things with contact lenses and stuff like that and everything. And he decided on just kind of doing the voice, which then Christian Bale also did to a different...
Picked it up a few notches.
Yeah, right.
And now, since we've had the pandemic, it's all obvious that no matter what kind of mask you're wearing and stuff, people are all going to know it's you.
Yeah.
Because I get recognized.
I don't know if I know that person. Do I know? I do that without masks.
I get recognized all the time while I'm wearing a mask. I'm like, how'd you know it was me? I'm wearing a mask, glasses, and a hat.
Like not to be recognized.
And the trench coat.
Yeah, yeah, with nothing else on.
Anyways, so all right. I want to just talk for a second. This movie is said to have made $411 million all time. But it grossed, let's see, 40 million its opening weekend, which at the time was very good. Now it would be like, what a flop. But it broke opening weekend record held by Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which was actually a 4-day weekend. So they don't count that.
Well, that was only a couple weeks earlier.
Yeah. Indiana Jones Last Crusade did end up making more money worldwide, but North America, Batman made more money. So
Batman was everywhere. You couldn't get away from it that year.
Yeah. Batmania, as Clay says, yes.
I mean, everything that was ever on TV about it, like little interviews with like Tim Burton talking about Anton Furst and his production design, and like every little thing that was like on MTV. Remember MTV News had like the Kurt Loder thing like 10 minutes before the hour, like little clips on there and stuff. I was like so freaking out about this movie. I couldn't contain myself. I was so excited about this.
Yeah, I mean it was a big deal. It was, we hadn't seen this. We hadn't seen him. I mean, we had seen Superman, like we said, although even the Superman movies had gone. When did Superman 3 and 4 come out? I don't even remember.
3 and 87.
Wow.
Oof. So it was only 2 years after Superman 4 Quest for Peace had lit up the box office.
It was amazing. It did so well.
Giant wet fart.
Oh, I finally found the episode of Siskel and Ebert where they reviewed Superman 3, where I was watching it with your brother and they were talking about the cheesy effects, and me and your brother were like, this movie looks great. What is they talking about? And then we went and saw it. It was terrible.
I watched the Siskel and Ebert review for this.
What did they think?
Gene Siskel, a thumbs up. Roger Ebert, thumbs down. He just thought it was like, it's like, I don't care. It looked good, but I don't care about the people, the characters.
I will side with Roger Ebert on that, because it does seem like this movie was more about the Joker, and Batman was sort of a secondary character. I don't like the way Keaton plays Bruce Wayne. He's sort of kind of, distant and aloof. And
it is weird. I'm not going to totally disagree. I know, like, you're supposed to, like, the idea is that Bruce Wayne, like, is supposed to kind of act like an idiot so that you don't know, like, You know what I mean? Right?
I
Like,
feel like they got the Bruce Wayne Batman balance right in the Nolan movies.
yeah, I agree. It's weird. Like I was watching it. I'm like, so when Vicky Vale goes up to him and says, "Do you know which one of these guys is Bruce Wayne?" And he says, "Oh, I'm not sure." Like, why not you just say, "Yeah, I am." Like, why would you have to? I don't know. Some of it doesn't make any sense. It's not even just the way he played it.
An investigative photographer, reporter who doesn't
I know.
know who the person is. That seems a little
He's
weird.
one of the richest guys in the world, right? And, like you don't even you've never seen him on TV or anything. Whatever. It was just a nice. It was a funny moment, but it doesn't make any sense.
I guess they say that Bruce Wayne is the disguise. Batman is the real person. Like he's a little awkward as Bruce Wayne, like not like when he's interacting like at his party and he's like, "Oh yeah, six champagne, that'll be enough," or whatever. But when he's just like by himself with Alfred, he's still kind of like a nerd. You know, he's got those nerdy glasses on and stuff. He's like,
well, I mean, you got to wear glasses. Yeah, I do like the scenes with him. I mean, I think him and Kim Basinger actually have decent chemistry. But I like the scene where Alfred says, you know, oh, there's a lovely, if things lift when she's around. He's talking about how great Vicky Vale is, and he just says, Alfred, why don't you marry her? I just love that line. He just doesn't have time for her right now. You know, so I mean, it's a funny line, but it is weird because then he is like, oh, she is great. It's like I feel like Batman throws in all these movies. He just falls in love with every woman he meets. It seems like, but I did like that line a lot. Why don't you marry her? But I don't know. It's whatever. He was fine, especially when you consider George Clooney and Val Kilmer, and Michael Keaton was obviously better.
I think I think Batman Returns might even be better a movie. Like it's pretty fun to watch if he's good in that, and they improved some things in the next movie. I think.
I mean, yeah, they did, but I think I don't like the Penguin that much. I think it's kind of
his costume looks like a costume. Like his fatness looks like a fat suit.
Yeah. Maybe I just too much of a Joker freak.
You do love that Joker.
Yes, I love that Joker.
Apparently Jack Nicholson was a fan of Batman comics and loved the Joker as well. So, I mean, it's a little bit of fanboy-ness going on here, which is cool.
Yeah, he wouldn't have done it, I'm sure, if he didn't like it. Apparently, there's a quote that says, he likes it. The sense of humor is completely tasteless. And this was one of his favorite roles. He one time said, but it's funny because
your grandmother liked it,
and my grandmother liked it. Yeah. When you watch this, and you think when you watch,
City Life
the
making you soft.
Nice.
When I was watching the beginning, sort of before he becomes a Joker, when he's just Jack Napier, I'm kind of like, this is totally him in The Departed. Like he's basically just playing the guy.
Right. I love how he puts the money in the sandwich for the guy.
Yeah, I know.
Is that Porkins from Star Wars?
Yeah. Eckhart.
I guess they there's like a cutout scene that I think they cut it out of the script. I don't even know if they filmed it, but like when Joker's dropping all that money, it's like supposed to have his face on it. And there's a line earlier in the movie. He's like, my face on the $1 bill. And when he's in the art museum, he like points at George Washington. He's like, $1 bill.
A $1 bill. I know, it's weird that it's twice.
Well, they were like setting up a joke that they cut out of the movie.
Yeah, weird. It's funny. Yeah. But yeah, she's like, what do you want? He says, my face in the $1 bill. And then my favorite line after that, when she says, you must be joking. He says, do I look like I'm joking? And of course he's got this the smile carved into his face. But then she kind of looks at him like, oh,
she says like, yeah, well,
it's like you kind of look like you're joking.
I don't like that line.
Really? I think it's funny.
Yeah. There is kind of like the like the what Heath Ledger brought to the role, like the like all he just wants to breed chaos. Like this Nicholson Joker is kind of the same way. You know what I mean? Like he's just kind of crazy.
Yeah,
What do you think,
He is.
Gerson, as a Joker
I think
aficionado?
my grandmother was right. No, I mean, this guy is like we said, this is the one. I feel like most, not even comic book movie villains, every movie villain or a lot of movie villains like to try to be this, but it only work. You can only play them over the top so much. It only works for the Joker. You can't play every villain over the top just because like it's fun, but like I don't know, like we said, Tommy Lee Jones. I feel like he's not Two-Face at all. He's basically the Joker or the Riddler or whatever. They're all the same.
Right.
Like they're all borrowing from this performance. Not that there wasn't over the top bad guys before, but not that you really remember. This one is very memorable. I think yeah, it's fun. I don't know. I'm a Heath Ledger fan as Joker, but
of course.
This one's
you can't have one without the other
up.
either. You know what I mean? But still,
sure.
Heath Ledger did bring like a different thing. I was trying to remember like how Heath Ledger did the human face paint versus the clown makeup, or did he?
That's
he
the thing.
Put on clown makeup, and then
yes.
The way so Heath Ledger puts on makeup, but like Jack Napier is white, and then they did like multiple layers of stuff so that when he wiped it away, it looked
flesh. Yeah, he puts on like flesh makeup to look like a normal dude, which is kind of an interesting take.
Yeah, it's good. Really. It's like a cool thing to throw in the movie,
But I mean, I like the fact that Heath Ledger never fell in acid and the whole silliness, which I mean, you know what I mean? Like that's
he does have that fucked up mouth. So who knows how that happened?
Well,
his dad could have thrown acid in his mouth.
Exactly. We don't know how it happened, but this is and it took me years to figure out that that's what Jack Nicholson's Joker was doing. That he had white skin, and he's putting makeup on, even though there's the scene with Antoine got a little hot under the collar, where he actually wipes his brow and there's white underneath. And I thought, like, what's up with that handkerchief? Does it have white on it? Like, it took me years to figure that out.
Yeah, it was like the opposite. And I guess why didn't they just do it that way? But the way you just described it, that would have made more sense.
He falls in the acid and his skin is bleached. And that's like that's the killing joke.
I like that. That's the killing. I mean, right? I like everything like origin story, like for Batman and Joker, like in this, even if they are related. Like I said, I didn't mind. Like I really don't. Like I picture when I was watching this movie, I was kind of watching it. I watched it on YouTube, by the way, and on YouTube you can watch stuff at like double speed. Because I was like, I just need to catch the.
That's what I wanted to do, but they couldn't do that on HBO Max.
Yeah. So I guess I bought it in like on digital whatever, and all the digital whatevers like talk to each other. So I went on YouTube and it was like, you bought this, so you can just watch it. So I watched double speed, and then I was just like, kind of like looking at it like kind of a little bit like removed from it because I was watching it double speed. I was like, obviously I know this movie. But I was just like, I could see this as a good comic book. This is a good story. Like, this is a good Batman and Joker story.
Yeah, I mean, it's simple.
Your favorite movie of all time, Clay?
It's not my favorite movie of all time, but when this came out, there's nothing. I had Batmania yellow and black running through my veins.
I see. So it's up there.
I love it just because it was fucking Batman. I still love Batman movies,
Sure.
You can't stop me.
All right, I want to talk a quick second, the Batmobile, because this was
love that Batmobile.
Love that Joker and love that Batmobile. Gotcha. So it was built over a Chevy Impala, apparently. They took the engine of the Impala and some taillights from a Ferrari. They took fuel caps off of a London bus, and some jet engine parts, and they made the Batmobile. So it's pretty
not
cool.
As cool looking as like you'd say like a Neil Adams looking Batmobile or something like that, but it's its own thing. and it's really cool. Like, it's a long thing, and I remember we used to do other clips about the Batmobile on MTV, that same MTV news segment, or like they would have specials about the movie and say like it's not street legal because it's so big and long. And there was like a few different copies of it, and they were giving one away on MTV once. I remember that too. I would like enter that contest.
It didn't have an engine.
You could win it.
Yeah, it didn't have. It was like just like the shell of the car, I think.
And I would be a shell of a man if I won that, but I didn't win. Probably couldn't even drive. I was trying to get the Batmobile.
Well, now it's probably at all these conventions and stuff.
I'm sure
it's pretty cool. Batmobile. I have to say the when he says shields up, it does look it doesn't look great, but it's 1989. So
I was actually going to say that's fucking stop motion animation, baby, and it fucking looks fucking rad because I like that. That's my Transformer sound.
Again, we'd only seen ever the 66 Batmobile, which had the fire thing in the back, which
and even in the comics, he didn't have a thing that like made a, cocoon over his Batmobile. That his little Siri thing that says stop.
His little Siri thing.
It takes a minute for it to stop too.
Yeah, it's like Alexa stop. Alexa stop.
Yeah, it stopped. Well, it has to stop like right in front of him, or it wouldn't be dramatic. But yeah,
I know. But it probably hit his shins. His Nike boots that they made.
I have one more character that I want to discuss that I don't know why. How about Bob, the poor Joker's goon?
What about Bob?
Good friend of Jack Nicholson, I guess. He kind of brings a Batman 66 element to it, because it's like you got to have your goons, And I don't know if Bob is dressed up like the mime, but
every time Bob was in the movie, they should have shot it on a Dutch angle like the old 66 series.
That's a great idea.
No, Bob is not a mime. He is he's photographing while the mime is, because there's actually a shot that I really like was one of the mimes in the background, and Bob kind of leans around the corner, takes a couple pictures, and leans back in. But I think it's funny because Bob has he's pretty prominent throughout the entire movie, and then Joker just shoots him. And I don't know if it's just because
I need a moment to myself or something.
I need a moment alone, boys. But yeah, it's kind of funny. I guess it's just like we can't just have Batman beat him and he goes to jail. Like we should do something with Bob, and that's a little more prominent. I guess it makes for a cool moment. Yeah, but poor Bob. He's been in a lot of movies. That guy though, I think I forget his name now. Tracy, I think. But yeah, close friend of Jack Nicholson. So he's like, I want you to cast Bob as this guy, or something like that. I wonder if Bob is even like. I feel like Jack Nicholson probably just call him Bob or something. Like that.
Yeah, made him call him Bob.
He said, "Fine, whatever." But yeah, all right. So we've got the Gross, we've got the Batmobile, we've got
first Batman movie to win an Academy Award.
Well. What did it win? I don't even know.
Best art direction, best set direction. Art direction - set decoration. So that's probably one thing. Followed by The Dark Knight with 2 wins, but the first Batman movie to win an Academy Award.
Well, I mean, that only means that Batman 66 did not win any Academy Awards.
It also means that none of those other, nothing else did since then. Because it credits.
No, that's not true at all. Obviously, Heath Ledger won Best Supporting Actor for his.
I mentioned talking about The Dark Knight, and this was the first one, and there was other Batman movies that didn't win one.
There were other Batman movies that didn't win any. Hopefully, Batman and Robin did not win anything, except the Raspberry. Yeah, right. The Raspberry, well deserved. All right. What else? Do we got anything else? Should we go to our final thoughts, or what do you want to do?
I got another little tidbit.
All right.
That's
here in North Dakota.
Just a tidbit. Okay. The classic showdown at the clock tower was not in the original script, but after John Peters and Nicholson saw Phantom of the Opera, they decided to throw that in there. The whole clock tower scene.
John Peters is influenced by everything that he sees. So he was like, that Superman should have like a buddy because I just saw Star Wars. He should have a fight polar bears or whatever. If you've seen that, anything having to do with Kevin Smith and Superman Lives, you'll see like John Peters was just weird.
I have yet to see that. Oh, I think it's like really coming down outside. Like it's like my doors are opening, windows are flying open in here. It's getting spooky. I feel like
really
I'm in the
dark
clock
out
tower
there,
myself.
like Batman. Yeah. I mean, it's. I guess as climaxes go, I mean, you got to do something. But it was a little. It seemed a little. I don't know, not anticlimactic, but I don't know. Apparently, even Jack Nicholson was like, "Why am I walking up all these stairs?" But it's fun. I mean, whatever. You got
LAZY.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Right. But yeah. I mean, it's fine. I do like the part where the guy is doing like all the flips and he just crashes through the floor. Batman doesn't even have to do anything.
Are those guys already there, or what?
Yeah, where did these henchmen come from? I guess after he killed Bob, they were like, let's just run around a little bit. Go in this church.
They all the two guys
We
like
don't want to get killed.
yeah. After he shoots Bob, two guys both go yelling and shooting in different directions. They go ah! They just start bang.
Because he says, "Give me a moment alone." He wants a moment alone. He wants he wants all the crowd to be.
They
gone.
definitely don't give him any peace of quiet. They start shooting and yelling, screaming, hooting and hollering.
He didn't say peace and quiet. He just said alone. It's like be noisy. I just want to be alone.
Pay respects to Bob, though. I mean, moment of silence
or a moment of noise.
R.I.P. Bob.
That's what Bob would have wanted. Wow. Yeah, we got like thunderstorm warning or something going on out here. This is crazy.
Spoiler warning. Yeah, it's like it got like weirdly like fucking creepy. It turned into a Tim Burton movie outside, like as we were talking.
Well, then let's wrap this up before you guys lose.
So I do want to say one quick thing. I read they're going to give Sam Hamm a comic book called Batman '89, very similar to the Chris Claremont X-Men.
Yes, you'll notice that's on LeaguePodcast.com/news. I posted some stills up there. You guys can go check that out. Get some exclusive look at the upcoming comic.
Which is going to
continue. That's where we're going to have Two-Face. Billy Dee Williams Two-Face is in that as well.
Is he an African-American Two-Face? Like Billy Dee Williams Two-Face? Or?
Yeah, it's like all like drawn. It's our buddy, local guy, Joe Quinones is drawing it. And he's drawing Billy Dee Williams in 1989 as Two-Face, just like John wants.
Fine.
Local guy from North Dakota. Yeah. So, check that out and check out their news on LeaguePodcast.com/news. Although apparently that is set after Batman Returns.
Burton Burst.
So really, it's like Batman '93.
Yeah. They call it Batman '89.
But it's not Schumacher verse.
Right. It's pre-Schumacher. Thank God. But I guess they just wanted to have Catwoman in it. So, and can they have Christopher Walken's goofy hair? That would be nice.
I thought he died, didn't he?
The original Shrek. Somebody once told me the world.
All right, let's do our final thoughts here. Woo! Among the lightning. I'm getting lightning out here. Before we get lose power or something, let's do some final thoughts.
I saw that lightning too.
I love that lightning.
Ooh, I can hear it. Cool.
Yeah, that was thunder.
I haven't eaten anything yet today.
Sorry. Who goes first? Clay usually goes first.
Does he?
So I don't want to go first now, since you're like Clay goes first. You go now.
You don't have to say it like that.
That's how you said it. I don't want to go first now. I'll go after you.
All right. yeah, this is a pretty fun movie. I would not. It's funny. I don't make like lists of my favorite movies, but I mean, I don't know. This might make. I don't know. There's some parts that are obviously I like to watch it because I'm a huge Joker nerd, so it's great for that reason. But everything else is fine. It's a Tim Burton movie stylistically. It's not really like the Nolan ones are trying to take place in the real world, right? But this one is definitely like it's Gotham. It's weird, yeah. Like people are kind of kooky here, so it's fine for that. Like it's got Tim Burton's stamp, which is good because this is much like Ed Wood. This was good Tim Burton, and
I wonder if it's a little bit of the character design thing, like in Ed Wood when he designed the Tunnel of Love or whatever, like these balloons at the end of the movie, or it's like, oh, Tim Burton, that definitely came from a Tim Burton
balloons
sketchbook.
Yeah, I think of balloons when you think of the end of Black Hole. Go check out our Black Hole.
Think of balloons.
I wasn't thinking of the Joker balloons. I was thinking of
those were too scary. I had to think of good balloons.
Yeah, well, those are like 10 years away. But yeah. Anyway, yeah. I mean, I don't know. A grade. I don't know. It's tough. I guess I'll give it I don't know. It's like an A, but kind of leaning towards B plus. I don't know. But it's a great movie. Obviously, don't get me wrong. Everyone knows it. Everyone's seen it. My grandmother's seen it. Rest her soul. She loved it. So like, I feel like I've never really heard too many people say bad things about this movie. Although I have a feeling I'm about to.
Wow.
So on that note,
special guest Clay, why don't you go then?
You can tell Peter McElroy, not one of those McElroys. This is the Peter McElroy from Gotham City Action News reporting live. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you again. Thank you for having me on your show. And now I'll rate the movie.
No, is this with you wearing the makeup, or this is like because Joker
I stopped wearing the makeup and I have these huge zits that are out of control.
It's actually pretty funny. We didn't talk about that. My aunt thought that was hilarious. So
that whole scene with the Smilex, and whenever I say love that Joker to you in a loving way, it fills my heart with joy because I think of Smilex.
He's been using brand X. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Even though I'm somehow chastised for liking movies by enjoying them when they came out, I will say that I really enjoyed this movie when it came out. I'm still gonna give it like
what's wrong with you? No, just
I'm still gonna give it like and I want to give it like an A, like a 93, like not an A plus, maybe like an A.
Well,
but not an A minus, not a B plus.
Probably an A minus.
A somewhere in between an A and an A minus.
Yeah, I feel like A minus has like negative connotation, so I'll give it a flat A, whatever that would be, 95. I was such a freak for this movie, and I do know it so well and it's one of those things where I can hardly do this with anything, but I can just always put this movie on in the background while I'm working, or just like it's just total comfort food. I love this version of Batman. I love how like this Anton First designs, but also like how it carries over into Batman the Animated Series, like how that sort of style is and everything, like how the 30s, 40s kind of thing, and that the Danny Elfman soundtrack and the Flash TV show, like that kind of look to like everything's like retro but new. I fucking love the look of this movie. Love the story, and I like Michael Keaton as Batman. I mean, I don't think he's a great Bruce Wayne, but he's all right. And I just appreciate what this movie gave the culture, and by kicking off, this is the first comic book movie for all others to be judged by and everything. I mean, I know it's like first one post Superman. Superman, I feel like it's a different animal. Like that also was the first movie, but this is the first movie that was anything dark and anything kind of serious. And everything Michael Uslan wanted to do, I feel like he did in this movie. So that's how.
Yes. There you go. All right, let's bring it down.
Okay.
Let's bring it down.
I saw this movie in the theater as well a couple of times. And I always felt this movie needed a couple more drafts because it feels like an incomplete movie to me. There are elements that it just feels like none of the characters are well developed, except the Joker, because that's the only guy you see in the movie, it feels like. I don't hate this movie, but I don't love it. It just always felt like, I mean, I got a Batman t-shirt when it came out. I'm not the huge Batman fan that you guys are. Like, you guys, well, between the two of you love Batman and the Joker.
Sure,
And
this
despite
is our movie.
I paid several $100s for an expensive costume and walked around dressed as Batman.
I heard people were stepping on your cape. Is that true?
Yeah, and they were making fun of me too. So that made me not like Batman even more.
I heard you tripped over a brick.
Yeah, I did. Well, there was they had the bricks around the tree, so I probably tripped on the brick and then got hit by.
Oh, I hope you didn't walk into a branch or something.
No, that would have been embarrassing.
Yeah, that would have been the worst. Batman doesn't do that.
Yeah. Anyway, I feel the movie is okay. It's fine. I won't put it on as comfort food. This is the first time I had watched it in many years, and I actually turned it off because I kind of was like, "Oh, this is kind of
discomfort food."
So, I give it a C.
Well, okay. Well, yeah, that's a little
without changing my grade or anything, my opinion of the movie or anything. There's something I really agree with you about, even with your C rating, which is offensively low to me. This is a Batman movie, but there's an element of that you just hit the nail. It's missing something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I could never put my finger on it. It just felt like it's not done. And there are movies that I've seen that just feel like they're not done. Like I remember Time Cop feeling like that. I'm like, there's a good movie in here. It's just not done.
Well, it's funny. I mean, you said like it needed another couple of drafts, but they already went through like so many. And apparently there was a writer's strike in 1988. So Sam Hamm could not be brought back in because he was in the Writers Guild for rewrites. So they had to bring in, I forget who. I'm sorry. But yeah, so that was a bit of a problem.
Bring in Lami Salami.
Well, I don't remember even where I read that now, so I can't even find out. But anyway, it wasn't Sam Hamm. It had to be somebody else. So, I mean, I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but yeah, I mean, the plot is simple, I will say. Even the idea of the Joker makeup thing, which is very comic booky, which is probably what they were going for, although Tim Burton's not a comic book fan. He did like The Killing Joke.
There are some spots in the movies where I was just like, oh, it's like, it's a little too style over substance. Like wherever it's like we're going to the chemical factory and there's like steam everywhere and all this other stuff. And when he's like, ship that stuff out, boys. And it's, like a weird looking, like scientist guy with sticky out hair. And he's like, yes, Joker, we got it going. That's how it was played by Ewan McGregor. There we go. Yeah, Joker.
Oh, Joker. It's not Ewan McGregor at all, but that's okay. No, it's sometimes Tim Burton he's a little too Tim Burton, but
yeah.
And this one, like, he had the opportunity to do all of this cool production design, and like, why not? You know what I mean? Like, why not lean into it a bit? I mean,
sure.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with what you said, John. I'm just saying, like,
I don't disagree or agree. You can just do what you want. If you think this is great, I'm glad you think it's great. I think it's okay. So
yeah, no, I definitely see that.
I feel that the initial Batman movies that came out, with the exception of Batman and Robin, were fine. And then as time went on, I sort of felt that Batman Forever sort of fell down a few more notches, but
right.
Yeah. It's like Jaws, I think. The first one's really good. The second one's not, a little, I think it loses a little bit. Third one, ugh. And then fourth one, whoa. Yeah, no, what are you doing? But, but I mean, Yeah, I think Tim Burton was coming off Beetlejuice, which was very successful, and he was like, I can flex my muscles a little bit here.
And then he really ups the Tim Burtonness for the next one, and that's why they didn't hire him
Right.
back third one.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's kind of. I probably won't ever get to or force you guys to watch Batman Returns, but I really like that movie, and I think I like it because of its Tim Burton-ness. It's just weird. It's like a weird movie.
I mean, you wouldn't be forcing us to watch it. I could definitely.
No, I'm saying like, with this movie though, it's just like it's just so. I feel like it's important to comic book movies, you know. Like
I definitely agree. You cannot discount the cultural significance of this movie, especially looking at 2021. There
are several comic book movies that are important. There's the first Superman one. There's this one. There's Spider-Man and the Avengers, and those are the ones that like.
You wouldn't throw an X-Men 2 in there?
No, because it didn't have the cultural impact that those other movies had.
I think you're right. Even though it's a great movie, I don't think it did. You could make a case more for the first X-Men even than the second one, but I don't think it did have that impact. Spider-Man was bigger.
I think it was bigger than the Superman and Batman in terms of movie until, maybe Iron Man too in retrospect. But
right. But that kind of starts its own
doesn't
thing.
matter.
At the time, Iron Man was just a decent movie. That's only where it went.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like this and Superman were like I think those are the big, and Spider-Man.
I'm not speaking for myself because I'm a huge Batman person, but maybe people actually were considering like with Spider-Man, like a certain amount of excitement that's like, we got a Marvel movie now. That's, Batman was like a few years ago, but I got a Spider-Man fucking movie. I'm a Marvel guy. I'm not a DC guy. Like
the way that you were about Batman '89 was how I was about 2002 Spider-Man until I saw it, and then I was like, and it took me a little while to warm up to it because there were just a few too many corny parts in it where he's like, I was talking to Spider-Man, Mary Jane, and he said that you're really cool and stuff. I was like, this is a little goofy, but I came around.
Go back and listen to episode 400 for our Spider-Man watch along.
That's right.
Or 450.
Please listen to 400 and then just go through all 50 of them.
Quality stuff there. It's all gold.
Well, I mean, it is kind of they're better than any of the previous 400, I'll also say.
Yeah. Once we got rid of Josh, that's when the show
got...
Oh,
no, that's not nice.
I'm just kidding.
All right. Well, I mean, none of us are discounting the cultural significance and the impact this movie had.
And you know what's funny? If you do enjoy this movie maybe as much as I do, and you enjoy Kevin Smith, if you watch, they do a watch along with this movie, and the first within the first couple minutes, you're like starting to crack up because they're like, Batman doesn't even appear on screen until 17 minutes into the film. It's like all this build-up bullshit. And then finally you get fucking Batman.
There is a lot of those people walking around looking for a cab. It's kind of
like,
I mean,
we got to get to the thing. We're taking a cab.
That first shot of Batman looking down on the city is really weird because he's like animated or something.
It's very animated, yeah. Like it's obviously not his shadow. It's not a man walking. It's kind of, it looks like a Tony the Tiger or something. Very obviously a cartoon shadow. But I mean, whatever.
A ballet dancer play a double. They had a karate expert, and then 2 tough guys to do the fighting. Those were his doubles.
Really? All right.
And he didn't walk into one branch, trip over one brick, or get his cape stepped on.
Well,
although
in
a scene that was cut out of the script, he was supposed to get dragged behind a train by his cape.
Oh, wow.
So I can sympathize.
What did they save that for Batman Begins?
They saved it because, they know you like train fights. So they thought, let's
replace missing
Thank you.
train.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
I remember the first appearance, Steve Rogers as Nomad, way back in the 70s. He tripped on his cape. Steve Rogers decided to stop being Captain America and was Nomad.
trip on a cape than anyone can.
And he tripped on a cape, and he said now he realizes why Captain America was not given a cape. And then he sort of rips the cape off. Anyway. That was
80s Nomad, he's just like, looks like fucking Snake Plissken.
Yeah, that was not a good run for Nomad.
All right, let's wrap it up. That ominous thunder.
Yeah, I know. Seems a little scary.
Yeah,
but,
before we lose power, which is maybe we'd have to lose internet. Yeah, so maybe it is a good idea to wrap it up.
Yeah, I think it's a wrap before all that goes away. But thanks for listening, everybody. Don't forget to check us all out on wherever you get your podcasts, Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify. Did we ever do Amazon? I don't think so, but we'll get there.
Yeah, we're on Amazon Music, Amazon Podcasts,
Amazon.
or whatever. Yep, we're up there.
Okay,
our regular feeds
very
up
well.
there, and if you want to support us on Spotify or Anchor, you can just find us wherever you find podcasts. Even if there's a special edition, actually, like 400, 500, our watch-alongs, or if we do a video interview, I try to put that up on our YouTube, so you just search for us, we'll find us everywhere.
Yeah, wherever you want, you'll find us. Whatever you're into,
that's a good law. Wherever you want, you'll find us. That should be our new slogan.
But I mean, some people like YouTube, some people like Spotify.
Yeah, some people do. That's why I try to put it.
You'll find us there. All right, thanks for listening, everybody, and stay dry.
Adios.
Rub another man's rhubarb.
90 Day is going tropical on the new Discovery Plus original series, Love in Paradise, the Caribbean. It's a vacation love story where sun, surf, and seduction collide. 4 Americans are traveling back to the exotic islands where they hope their sexy romances can turn into forever. Love in Paradise, the Caribbean, a 90-day story. Streaming now only on Discovery Plus. Start your free trial. Terms apply.
Keep up with Team USA with gig speeds over Wi-Fi from Xfinity. Can your internet do that?
Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires gig internet and compatible gateway. Gig speed Wi-Fi is shareable across all devices. Actual speeds vary and are not guaranteed.
Xfinity, proud partner of Team USA.